Okay, this problem asks us to list all the potential rational zeros using the rational zero theorem. So it's going to be factors of 4 over factors of 2. So that means it's going to be plus or minus this whole thing, okay? 1, 2, and 4. Any fractions you can create using the factors of the last term, which is a0, and the factors over the factors of the first term, an. So that's going to be 2 and 1. So any kind of fraction you can create. So we're going to get 1/2, 1, and then 2 over 2, which is 1, so we already have that. 2 over 1, which is 2, so we need that. It's unique. Then 4 over 2, which is also 2, and then 4 over 1. So our possible rational zeros are going to be plus or minus 1/2, 1, 2, and 4. Now, step 2 asks us to use polynomial division to find all the zeros. And this could be possible 4 of them, so we have to get working. So I just try one of them, try -1. Remember, you have your bounds. You try numbers and see if you have an upper or lower bound. That's how you kind of use, make an educated guess on how to do that. So you try -2 and -2, and you get 7, and that's going to be -7. It's -5. That's 5. Combine that, you get -4. -1 times -4 is 4, and so that is a 0. So -1 is definitely a 0. Then we'll try -1/2. You could also get some indications where the answer gets way away from 0 or closer to 0. You can kind of tell which direction the answer is going to go in, or what your next candidate might be. So we try 2. We try -1/2. We're going to get -1. Combine that, we're going to get 8. Multiply that, you're going to get -4. Combine that, you're going to get a -2. Combine that, you're going to get a 1. Combine that, you're going to get -8. Multiply that, you're going to get 4. And 4 and -4 is 0. So we have two zeros now. We have -1 and we have -1/2. And then they ask you to use the quadratic formula if you need to. So at the end here, we have, remember this is the constant, that's x. Constant, that's x. And we see what answer we have. Hold on. So a slight correction on the previous problem. When we see that -1 is a 0, we work with the numbers at the bottom of our substantive division. We're going to go back to the original. So now we have 2x cubed, 7x squared minus 5x minus 4. So from there, we drop the 2. We try to -1/2, but we do it with our new numbers at the bottom here. So that's 2. So that's going to be -1. That's going to be a 6. It's -3. That's going to be a -8. And that's 4, and -4 and 4 is 0. So now we have two zeros. We have -1 and -1/2. And so we have a remaining, we have a quadratic. So this is going to be 2x squared plus 6x. Squared plus 6x minus 8 equals 0. We can factor out a 2. We get 2 times x squared plus 3x minus 4. You divide out that 2, and we're going to have x plus 4, x minus 1 equals 0, because we can divide by 2 on both sides, get rid of that 2. So we're going to x equals -4, and x equals 1. So our full answer to that question is going to be, all our zeros are -1, -1/2, -1, and -4. Those are for that one. Alright, the key feature to notice in this problem is that the polynomial is not written in the proper order. So you have to rewrite it in descending power order. If you do not, then you'll not get the right answer for this one. And then they ask us to find out solutions. So it's going to be 1, 10, -1, -10. And then we try, so since I have these 1s and -10s, I think I'm going to try like -10 or 10. So I tried a 1. Oh, you could try something. Again, you use your bounds, upper and lower bound. If you have all non-negatives, then you know it's an upper bound. If you have alternating signs, then you know it's a lower bound, and then you work from there. That's how you do it. So it's going to be -10. So that can give me a 0, and that's going to give me a 0. Combine that's -1, and that's 10, so that indeed is a 0. So therefore, I know that 1, 0 is -10 is one of the answers. And what do I have left? I've got x squared minus 1 equals 0. So I'm going to have x plus 1, x minus 1 will be my other answers. Okay. Equals 0. So therefore, my three answers are -1, +1, and -10. So there's only three answers there for that one because you had to start with a quadratic, and you only need to get one answer using 1, 0 using synthetic division. Then you're down to second power, and you can do quadratic. So first part of number 9, here's a list of all the potential rational zeros. Well, that's going to be all factors of -108 over 1. So it's basically factors of -108. So it's going to be 1 plus or minus 1, and then 2, and then 3, and 9 goes in there also. 9. I think 36 goes in there. 36 times 3. Yes. And half of that would be 54, and then 108. Lots of possible answers for that one. Now, of course, we're asked to find all the rational zeros with all those possible combinations, so good luck to us. So we have 1, 7, 3, -63, and -108. Again, there's lots of choices. You try to use numbers in the middle so you can alleviate upper and lower numbers using the upper bound, lower bound. That's the way you use guess here. This way you make educated guesses. So we're going to try 4. So bring down the 1, and you get 4, 11, 44, 47. It's 160, 188. Combine that, it's going to be 125,